Do you ever think of death? Death is a blink of an eye, a moment that and you are preparing 60, 70, 80 years for that one split moment that you go out of this instrument free. And you have to do all kinds of things in this life to be prepared for that one single moment. I can see this body laying in a coffin and a family around it and praying and crying maybe. But I can see that instrument laying there, and I know I am not that body. I am what is free. You too, you are free. We exist and we think we exist as a body. And the body is filled with the mind that is always pushing around the body. You cannot help it. Mind goes whew, whew. Even if you know it's just a play, it never stops. What to do? Suppose this body will die. It will die, but then the mind stops. But then it is forced. I just want to leave the mind before the body leaves this life. The power inside. It will return. It will leave the body. But then it is not something you have control over. It must be possible that you have control over the mind, that at least you see what it's doing, but you don't follow. And I need to reach that state before this body drops with mind in it. Because when you don't control and master the mind will master you, and there will be another birth in another body. Your energy will be again imprisoned in a form with a mind in it. And that's not what this person is going for. I have tasted the liberty. So what to do in the day when the mind rises? When your body wakes up, your mind rises. And you can, whatever happens, you can see it, boom, going. But most of the time you don't even see it going. You are already there where the mind has taken you. And afterwards, oh yes, I did it again. Oops, I followed the mind again. Attention, just have attention. Continually have attention for the reality that you are. The observer, the witness, the real you that sees your body and mind acting in this world of illusion. So if you do that, it must be possible to live in that state. Ramana Maharshi lived in his body, but there was no mind. Nisargadatta Maharaj lived in his body, but he never knew the body. And he had no mind, although all the answers appeared out of him. The visitors asked questions, and the answers raised up from him, arose from a depth in him, and he spoke it with his mouth and with the sound of that body But there was no mind concerned. He never spoke from the mind. And that state, it must be possible to reach that state in this life. Otherwise you wouldn't be interested and it wouldn't pull you towards it. If you still are interested in the world and you go out, and then you are still attracted by the phantoms of what the mind hangs before your eyes, a veil, and you think the happiness is there. No, only happiness is when you are not. And meanwhile the mind goes on, but more and more you will see. It is like a poor doggy just barking. It's barking out of fear because the mind will know that it disappears. And you see it and you don't follow it anymore. Even if you notice it only after, mind again took me. Mind deludes you, but has a reason. You have to be so strong to master the mind. It will happen. It will happen. Don't be afraid. Mind appears only when you appear. It's not coming by itself. It is depending on you. So keep it under control. Be happy. When you really realize what you are, what you really are is not this body. It is not in this. You are not this prison form. You are the soul inside. And when you realize your reality, what you eternally are in a blissful state that entered in the body, to find out that blissful state of yourself, how you miss so much when you go in the world searching for material stuff for the body, but it will all disappear. But what you really are is tremendous blissful. There is no word to express it, but direct your soul. You will be free. Direct your soul to the God being that you are. Be grateful for the journey to go home. We are afraid of the future that we make ourselves in our mind. Mind is always not now. Mind is from the past and in the future. Mind cannot be in this moment. That's why we don't want to be in this moment. Mind thinks, there's nothing to do. I want this and I want, but that's always something. It's from what is gone. Something was there and you remember and you want it again. And when you remember it, you throw it to the future when you want it again. Mind cannot be empty. And that's the silly thing, because that mind does not exist. There is only this emptiness, empty of mind. But that's what you are. It's not to be afraid of the emptiness. Mind is afraid of emptiness. And that's why it makes you a victim of time, of wanting and longing and not being satisfied with what is. But that's the only thing that is what is now. How can it be that now at daytime when there's a light of the sun and you are longing for the night, well, you put yourself away from this moment when there's light and you are longing for the dark evening or some other rare moments. You have been on vacation, it was nice, but now you are in the house alone, and then the mind wants you to go back to the vacation and throw it in the future for you to, I will have a good time because I will go on holiday again. Then you are neither in the past of the holiday then, and you are not in the future of the holiday to come. So that's what makes you unhappy. Can you see it? You throw yourself in pieces. You cut yourself in past and future. And in this moment, you are not alive. You kill yourself every moment. But it's the mind. That is the mind takes you away from your peace. Don't do it. You will be there will be so many lives to come when you always keep on thinking about what was and what will be. Then you have not found the moment of yourself, the reality of what you are. The real self is now. That's the only possibility the self can exist. And whether it is seen as a world or a life or the moment now or the emptiness or what is forms, however it is seen now. And that's what the only thing that you can only live now, and the mind cannot enter in this moment. The I cannot be in this moment, because in this moment there is no thinker. Mind or I is always thinking, wanting, desiring. So you desire already a next life, a next birth, so you can keep on desiring, because that's what mind does. Mind cannot be satisfied in the now, because the mind will collapse in the now. And that's one thing the mind does not want. Do not be. Be aware that you are prisoner of your mind. And there is no peace of mind, only a peace of mind. Mind in peace is now and then and before and after, that are pieces, but there is no peace in pieces of mind. The only peace of the now is no mind. That's to say, see what is. See that it will change, but that's the next moment. That's not even now. Nothing can change in this moment, because when it changes, it's in the next moment. You see, there we go again, traveling from there to there. Be happy. That's the only thing that exists. The self is now, and the fake self, the mind, cannot accompany you in the now. It cannot be your companion. You yourself cannot be the companion of you. Because you yourself, this person, this mind, that's not a reality. It is not even existing. You know? What has been is not existing, and what will be is not existing. And that's why we are so unhappy. Because we don't exist while we are so full of life. We are so full of the presence that we are. But we overrule it by, I want this because it was so nice then and I want it again. That's the mind. Don't listen anymore. Maybe you can talk about this 20 minutes or an hour or even 1 second. But it has to penetrate, so the mind will slowly, it has to admit, the mind has to see. Then the mind will diminish, and there's this big, great knowing. But the knowing is not with the mind. The knowing is the existence now. What is now is knowing, being aware of awareness. And that has no future and no past, because it is eternally now. That's what you are. And beingness is no knowing. It's just being. Everything is, but there is no knowing about it. Knowing is a separated entity that says, look at that, I know it, I notice it. In being alive is no knowing, and in knowing is no being. Knowing is not alive. Knowing is here in the mind, and the mind is dead. So whatever you think you know, you have to leave it behind to be allowed in beingness. To be has nothing in it but all that appears in the moment. Be it now in your body form or later, whatever is, it is beingness, and that's what you are without knowing. Does there exist anyone that can experience this world without consciousness? That means that everything that is experienced is in you. There is no world outside. All experience need consciousness. They only can be experienced in consciousness. And consciousness is in you. If you see life like that, you know you are just appearing in your own consciousness with all things around you as your own consciousness. There's nothing but you, awareness, consciousness, awareness, and no form in it. Are you aware that when you find your reality, when you realize your true being, that you lose all that you gathered as a person? You lose everything. You lose the person that you thought you were. You lose the name, the things that you collected, the schools that you had, the degree of study. You lose everything. You lose your family. You lose, because it is all belonged to that person that you thought you were, the role that you played as person. But it was just a role. Your reality has no role. It has no form, but it's eternal bliss. Wow. Everything just appears in life, like life appears as it is. Like in springtime, there's a leaf appear on the tree, and in autumn, leaves disappear from the tree. That's all. And we appear when we are born, and we disappear when we are dying. That's all. But in us, there is a sort of consciousness growing, and because of that, we think that we are different and separated from others. The leaf doesn't think it is separated, and we think that we are other, different. And the only reason that we have got consciousness is that we will be realizing that we are not different from all that appears, and then your life is happy and free. You know, there is only one world existing in you, in your consciousness. When your consciousness is not directed to the world, then where is this world? When you rest, there's nothing, and when you wake up, the world wakes up with you. But only that part of the world where your mind is going to, or your attention. You cannot think two things at the same time. You cannot think of, whatever appears in your mind. A rainstorm in Brazil. And at that moment, you cannot think of the one making spaghetti in Italy. See what I mean? You have to, because it doesn't exist, it can only exist in your mind. And your mind cannot exist in two directions. Mind is one-pointed. When something appears in the mind, the other things cannot appear because they don't exist. Everything exists in your mind only. And when the mind is tired, you sleep. And there's nothing, no existence at all. Yeah, the body is breathing. It's not dying when you sleep. But there is nothing in it that is known. When you lay resting, you don't know that there is a world or a body resting, because what is in the body, the soul, the knowing of the soul, is withdrawn to its own place. And when the soul has taken its power, it comes back to the body, and the body goes on making up stories and investing things and doing things, but it's all imagination of the mind. And when the mind is tired, the body sleeps again, and the soul in the body is withdrawing. It's not leaving, but it's going to the place to gain the strength to go again in that body, in that so-called made-up world. It's just all a story. It's not really there. It's not really there. The world that you make up in your mind has no weight. It has no massive content. It has nothing. It is a flat line. It is a line with forms on it that appear in your mind, visualities and visible forms that are drawn on this flat line in your mind. And when you sleep, nothing. So actually the world is a drawing itself in your mind. Stupid. But who knows? Well, that's the soul, the inner self, the deep inner self, which knows everything, and it is itself enough, so you don't need to make up that world any longer. Why should you? Yeah, for fun, okay, But when there's this world that you make up, there is also this body. And the body is going under. Well, when you know that too, that body is also just an appearance in the mind, then, well, it's not necessary to think about whatever. Just enjoy the day, the meal, and the time that you have, and the weather, whatever appears. Give your attention to that, and don't give your attention to the wars that they are fighting, because when you don't make it up in your mind on that line, the line in your mind, then there's no war at all. But when you are full of aggressive, old aggressive things, then you need to get rid of it, and you, because you are, this is not good, and then you can work away the aggressive, what you call it, power or strong negativity in you. When you still have it, then you need a war to get rid of it. You cannot get rid of negativity in a warm, sunny day with flowers. Well, yeah, maybe there are people warm again. I don't like flowers. It's all in your own mind. It depends on your consciousness. And if the soul is full of love and light, then you don't see bad things anymore. Why should you? It doesn't serve you. What serves you is your own knowing that there is only love, and then all dissolves in love. Takes a long time, but actually the love is the one doing it all. Love is making this body with this capacity of imagining, and then the body will find out that it is made of love, just to discover the love in it, and then go back. Blah blah blah. Happy blah blah blah. Bye bye. Suppose you came out of nothingness or out of emptiness into a form. Suppose you existed in a form. What would you do? You could do anything. You could be anything. You could be a person. You could be an animal. You could be strong or rich. You could do anything that you could imagine, because you are that one imagining all this. Suppose you were really in this form. What would you do? Well, isn't that what you are doing now? Supposing. do you ever think of death? Death is a blink of an eye, a moment that, and you are preparing 60, 70, 80 years for that one split moment that you go out of this instrument free. And you have to do all kinds of things in this life to be prepared for that one single moment. I can see this body laying in a coffin and a family around it, praying and crying maybe. But I can see that instrument laying there, and I know I am not that body. I am what is free. You too, you are free.